finished the program about 12 months ago, and since that time, I've been doing a number of things. Firstly, when I first went into the program, it was so I could actually start to live in a way that was more present in my own life by having the level of energy that I wanted to have in order to show up and be the best person I could be for the people that actually matter in my life. And that includes obviously my loved ones, but also my clients, and do the best work that I can do on their behalf. So one of the things that I've really noticed from the program is that it helped me really to kind of work on my fitness, not just for the time that I was in the program, but also on an ongoing basis. So these days, it's a regular part of my life, consistently, that I'll go to the gym 3 times a week. I've got daily exercise in and around the gym, so it's not just gym work. My eating patterns have completely changed the way I approach things like alcohol. So it's about how you consume these things, how you approach these things. But the big part for me is that it's not just like an event. It's not just like, okay, here's a 12-week program. During this 12-week program, you're going to go at it hell for leather, and you're going to drop some pounds, and you're going to feel a little bit better about yourself. But after that, that's pretty much it. You're on your own. What it does is it really instilled a massively different way of approaching my life for me. So basically, it's changed my mindset. It's changed my approach to things. So I can bring a level of discipline to my health, my fitness, my body, and my general sort of physicality, in the same way as I'm disciplined about plenty of other things in my life. So actually, it's been, without being too over the top about it, it's been life-changing. So when I first started the program, probably my biggest concern was, when do I do this? Because I'm a busy guy. I'm sure lots of us are busy professionals, and even when we're not that busy, we manage to convince ourselves we're busy. The reality is that we can all find the time to do things that really matter. It's like, the analogy I'd use is you don't sort of choose whether or not to stop at a red light. You just do it. It's not an option. And that's really the sort of mentality that I've now got about exercise and health and so forth. It's not an option. I just have to do it. And if something matters to you, you will find ways of getting it into your life. Now, that doesn't mean that you're suddenly going to have to, on day one, find, an extra 6 hours a week to go exercising, because that's not practical for a lot of us. I mean, that's just, you look at it and you think, well, where the heck would that even go in my diary? So the first thing was little changes, and changing my diet, changing my habits. That doesn't take any more time. In fact, if you plan things out better, in some ways it actually takes less time. But little things, like times when I would just be previously probably waiting for the kettle to boil and scrolling on my phone, which is, that's the very definition of dead time, isn't it? It's time when you could be doing something else. Well, these days, it might sound stupid, but one of my little habits is I go to click the kettle on for my morning coffee, and then I go and do 50 squats whilst I'm waiting for that. And that's enough just to get the blood pumping a little bit in the morning and make me feel like I've done something, So those little things, you can factor it into your normal lifestyle in a way that you almost don't even notice it. And then when you actually start to bring in the gym as well, I'm blessed to have a gym that's only about 1.5 miles away from my house. So I'm able to go and walk that, and that feels like part of my normal walk in the day, which I'd always try and do anyway. And then, as part of the walk, I'm at the gym. I might as well go in and do a little bit of a routine. And, it's an extra half an hour, an extra 45 minutes. And you very quickly find a rhythm that works for you. And you can always find time for that which is important in your life. So during the sort of 12, 13 weeks of the program, I was really pleased with what we achieved. I lost 24 pounds. The key thing for me was not to be one of those people who, a year later, I'm sort of looking down at the waistline and realising that I put it all back on again. And I'm pleased to say I haven't done. The big difference there is that this is all about the mindset, and some of the approach is really around kind of how you think about food, how you think about exercise, how you think about the type of person you actually are. So I don't want to make it sound like it's a bit too sort of deep and meaningful and like you're going to get psychoanalyzed, because that's not it at all. But there is an element of actually analysing your own relationship with food and exercise and that sort of thing, which can be really healthy. Just that little bit of self-reflection, it makes a huge difference. And it makes it sustainable, because it means that you're actually building on a bedrock of something that's really, really solid, rather than just like a temporary fad of I'm on a diet. No, you're not on a diet. What you are is you just have a healthy approach to your own life, and you're the sort of person that eats in a healthy way. And there's a big difference between those two things. It's not about denying yourself something. It's actually about the kind of person you are and the kind of person you want to be. So in terms of sustaining it, actually, most of the good work starts up here. Built on the fact that you build really good habits, so it's about processes and so forth. And also, it's fair to say you also get some really good technical competencies from the program, because you're taught how to exercise. I might sound like a complete idiot, I probably do, but there's certain exercises and things I wouldn't know how to do them unless somebody who knows what they're talking about actually tells me. So little things like if you rock up at a gym, you feel a little bit embarrassed to ask about questions about, oh well, how do I use that machine and things. Well, you've got somebody who's actually in your corner telling you, no, you just need to do it like this. It's really straightforward. Don't worry. So that's pretty much it. Basically, I built all the behaviours, built the mindset in the 12 weeks, and then that's just stood me in good stead for the rest of the year. So when I first started doing the program, I was 47, I'm 48 now. 47-year-old me was sitting there thinking, well, you know what, I'm starting to get to the point where, don't get me wrong, I'm not putting my belt on with a boomerang, but I'm definitely bigger than I want to be, which is not a great place. So, and I'm more concerned really about where I'm going to be in 10 years' time. What does 57-year-old me look like? And my big concern was 57-year-old me would probably be somebody who really liked to be, still walking up mountains and going for, being able to be an interactive part of the lives of nieces, nephews, great nieces, great nephews. As the family gets bigger and I get older, can I cope with that? And can I be an active participant in their lives? Or I'm going to be somebody who's just basically a little bit old, wheezy, knackered knees, can't really show up. And I didn't want that. That was not an image of myself that I particularly liked. So here I am now, 48-year-old Matthew, and dare I say that 58-year-old Matthew is looking like he's going to be in damn sight better shape than the previous version of me. If I maintain this mindset, maintain these behaviours, then there's absolutely no reason at all why I can't be a very active part of the lives of my extended family, and dare I say, continue to be really productive for my clients as well. A year on, would I recommend this program to anybody else? Without hesitation, and I have done. As Dave will no doubt tell you, I've passed him several referrals, and I kind of, without wanting to be too much of one of those annoying people who just goes, hey, look at what I did. That's not what it's about at all. It's more like when I'm talking to somebody who's of a similar sort of age, similar sort of level of busyness to me, another busy professional person who maybe has put everybody else ahead of himself at times, which is part of the problem. You get into this cycle of not looking after yourself because you're too busy, working hard, working 15, 16 hours a day, whatever that looks like. But it does take a lot of toll on you. So when I meet people like that and they say, God, I could really just do with a few more hours in the day, a bit more gas in the tank, I sort of ask them a little bit about what they do in terms of their health and their fitness, because that gas in the tank is always a red flag. That's the thing that tells you that maybe it's time to start refilling the cup a little bit, because you keep drinking from it, it's going to get empty. You need to do something to look after yourself a little bit, because ultimately you've only got the one body, you've only got the one time around on this planet that we're aware of, so you need to make the most out of it. And unfortunately, this thing, you're going to have to look after it, because otherwise it's going to let you down. So basically, I have done and will continue to pass referrals and evangelise a little bit. Hopefully without being too irritating about it.